Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. I think we should wait for a few minutes for evictions and everyone to turning in. Hey, hey, glad to have you here, man. Okay, I think we have a few minutes until the spade start. Hello, guys. We're pinging eviction, so please be patient a bit. We will kick the space off in the next minute. Thank you. Hello, eviction time. Sorry guys. We're waiting for eviction, so I'm pinging the team. So please be patient a bit. Yeah. Thank you for your time tuning in this space, and we'd love to have all of you here. I think at the moment you can hit into microfree.io. We're having Interchange Summer Fest, which is going on until October, and apparently there's a huge update within a product in this September. So I think it's gonna be like a journey where we bringing the true power of SocialFi to combine that with gaming. So I think most of the time people try to enter SocialFi without like having sort of interactions over, but it's kind of minting NFTs and live it there. So we want a deep connections between all the players to actually create a Web3 social graph. So what we're building in the upcoming phase is like uh, tell us, social fight narrative over gaming interactive uh, plot. So it's coming within this September. So I think if you like microfree, stay tuned, bear with us in this journey, and we'd love to have you on board. All the Viction fam, all of the community members, and Viction ecosystem. And apparently, there's gonna be a very cool features that allows all of the one ID holders to get into microfree for that. Yeah. So I think that's I can share for now at the moment. But to have some more detail on that, we should wait for the official announcement on the both team. Yeah. Oops. You lost your 198-day streak. So I think you can uh, get into our Telegram group. I have a 24/7, you know, support from the team over there. You can head in that and you can require ticket support. So we're gonna look at your case and probably gonna give you back on the streak that you lost. Don't worry about it, man. We're happy to help you. Yeah, if you guys have any kind of question or any kind of feedback for the product, for the team, you guys can just type in the comment sections, and we're ready to have you resolve all of that. Okay. Sorry, so sorry for the evictions team. I don't know where they are, but if they're not going to make in the space, I think there's gonna be some sort of the sharing for me as the uh, representative from Microfree within like of this sections how we are going to onboard a user into Web3 and um, some sort of upcoming product features that we're going to have for Victions and all sort of EVM compatible on Microfree. Yeah. Oh, I just got a message from Victions. They're coming. Yeah, good news. Yeah, you should contact Microfree.io on Telegram. So I think I have my team pinged out a Telegram link over here because we're more active on Telegram right now. But you can also create a ticket on Discord as well. So we're gonna look at that. Probably there's a Discord admin in that server, and he's gonna look at your ticket. And either way, you're gonna propose it to the team. So you can do that on both. But Telegram is more responsive. Okay, I see that Ronan is joining the space shortly. Sorry to keep you waited. Um, he should have some sort of incident that he cannot join on time, but finally he's make it. Yeah. Okay, I can see that you went on Telegram for support. Uh, cool. I will have my team to look at your message right now. Hey Ronin, can you request kind of a the access to speak? Then I can grant it that. Okay. Ronin, can you accept the allows to speak? Hey man.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Yes, great. It's great.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Viction's ambassador here, and they're waiting for Viction team to get on the stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Okay,
good.
okay, we have Viction's Echo. Um, yeah, I think today is gonna be about the topic that really interesting that is going to be bridging Web 2 and Web 3. So I will not keep I will not keep everyone waited. So we can dive into the space right now. Are you good, Ronin?
Yes, yes, I'm all good.
Okay, okay. So I think the topic is about onboarding the next billion users. But before we went straight into the topic, so can you share a little bit about yourself, your background, where you coming from before you work in Web 3, and your experience?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, cool. I can introduce about myself first. So currently, I'm the BDs for Viction, and I've been in the space since maybe 2020. So it's about 4 years now, and I have like before that I was contributing in Web2 space. It like from that time is Web3 is something that is very strange to me. Like I don't know, I don't know about the history of like Web3 or blockchain, or what is a MetaMask wallet, something like that. So everything is very new to me, and since the COVID-19, so I have a chance to tap into the industry, totally new areas for me, and I started to learn from at the very beginning, and from that time I started as a marketing, from the marketing team, and then since I see that the role of BD is helping the project to reach more wider milestones, and also like to expand the project scope to another level, so I started to become a BDs, and I'm still sticking with that until now. And before I came to Viction, like I have tried to some of the like GameFi projects. I would say that since 2020, GameFi is something that is really a really hot topic at the time. So I enrolled in a GameFi project. I started the marketing, and then I become the BDs of that team, and then I keep going up. And when I see that I want to go like bigger, I would say, like it's no longer just gaming and GameFi no more. I started to joining Viction as the chain, the BDs of the chain. I have more chance to like getting to know more about the technical of blockchain, the key elements, and how can define a chain that is can be successful. And I still taking sticking into Viction until now. And I think that is very interesting that, since the GameFi, I thought I know a lot about like Web3, but, when I tap into Viction, there are a lot of information that I have to digest and a lot of, angles to growth in the future. And yeah, I'm still enjoying, becoming a BD of the chain until now. And in short, about fiction, so I think a lot of people are not very, familiar with like fiction. A lot of people when I talk to with, they said that like is Viction is a new chain. So basically, before we rebrand to Viction, so we have another name which is Tomo Chain. We have been operating in the space since 2018, and according to a very long history of fiction with full of up and down, so until now we have fiction with a lot of ecosystem project around. We have fulfilled our infrastructure. We welcome a lot of interesting projects including micro tree as well. We have come into a lot of collaboration together, and we are really happy with that. And as a layer one EVM blockchain, so we envision to be, becoming more well known and to adopt more of the solution that we emphasize on low gas fee or even like zero gas fee mechanism, as well as the adoption of app chains in the Viction worldwide chain. So we have a very long vision, long term goals that we can approach to more Web2 audiences, no longer just Web3, and to educating them step by step to become the actually Web3 citizens. Yeah, and yeah, that is basic information about myself and Viction.
Yeah, what a journey, man. I think from the time 2017, 2018 is pretty tough time, and I knew Tomo Chain since 2019 probably. So when I first came to Tomo, pretty excited to see that Tomo is one of the very first L1 to be listed on Binance and also sort of like an OG team that founded DeFi. And yeah, you went through a lot of gaming projects through the high ups and downs from the space. I bet that you get a lot of experiences on that as well. So yeah, I think it's pretty excited to have you here. And for me, it's Trump from Michael Free. So I started crypto probably in 2018. Before that, I worked in politics in the U.S. So I work under the Senate office in Pennsylvania, and I find the job a little bit boring because the politics is always you have to deal with paperwork and people, and all sort of Congress constituents. And I decided to quit the job and I flew back to Southeast Asia, especially Vietnam, to explore the Web3 dynamics over here. And yeah, pretty excited to join a lot of projects Horizon Gaming, DeFi, and then I stopped and founded MicroFree, which is SocialFi consumer D app, which is very promising. When I find out there's a niche market with fatcasters going on, so yeah, pretty much that is about me. And I think to kick off their space, there's a question that I really want to ask Fiction for a long time. So I know Vixen is a newly born blockchains, and you're backed by Coin98, especially 98 Ventures. So how can Vixens grow and contribute to make Web3 more accessible and user friendly for public? Because you guys say that Vixen is like the people, L1 blockchain. So how can you guys, do with that narrative? Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we decided to rebrand to Viction, it's not just a coincidence or we just doing some sort of marketing. We just think that time we have like more resources compared to the past. So since 2018, since Tomo Chain, it's very different compared to the Viction position at the moment. Like we have to stand alone by ourselves, you know um I think at the time, layer one is something, especially EVMs, is very hot topics. We need minor of like marketing education to let the people know about the chain. Um, but the game is very much different compared to now. Like we have hundreds of different blockchains. Is no longer sticking to the EVM, but now we have very top performance, non EVM blockchains like Solana, like Near, even like many other big names. So the play is much harder compared to the past, but it's not that something letting us behind. So after we getting the strategic investment from the 98 ecosystem, or especially Aki Fund, so we started to doing a lot of work by reviewing our ecosystem to see who are the key contributors of the ecosystem during that time, and we have our own strategies to expand the ecosystem, so we no longer depending on the previous project, because we have a bigger picture right now. We have the backing from the 98 ecosystem with tons of different interesting projects that instead of like competing with others, like we runs in the collaborations. We have the resources from the 98 ecosystem, not only about the products but also the medias, the very awesome like contributors, ambassadors, and KOLs. So we believe that with all the support that we get, so we can reach higher milestones. um, you know, in the past we lack of a lot of fundings, but now we have more resources. We have more people. We have more contributors who are very loving the Vision brand, and really willing or always stay there to support the chain to be growing. So that's why like we believe that with what we got right now and what we have been success in the past, so it's more or less that we still believe in that fiction will be one of the common names and very popular, in the upcoming, bull run. And we also emphasize on what we have done very like good in the past, that we maintain the performance of the chain with 150 nodes. I would say that is master nodes, and also we emphasizing on the security, we emphasizing on the scalability. That's why we introduced the Viction Worldwide chain with a lot of like toolkit that helps the project to be building their own blockchains. And we still emphasizing on the low gas fee offering, so that when you go over to other layer ones, we can proudly say that Viction is among the most gas efficient blockchain. um, I think for the zero gas fee mechanism is something that we are really emphasizing on the Web2 education content, that the most barriers for the newcomers of the space is I've been experienced in the past. So first is like how we can install a Web3 wallet, beside other centralized exchange like Binance or OKX. When we actually tap into the Web3 is where we first install the Web3 wallets, starting with like the MetaMask or the Coin98 wallet, so on. And after that, like we have to learn about like how we can deposit our very first native tokens to start trading or to start purchasing a new tokens or new NFTs, on chain. And it's very painful because compared to the past, we have like just few chains, and then is it really kind of it take a little bit of time, but it's still straightforward to know more about what the chain is doing, what is their native tokens, and how we can start to entry the field. But for now, like when we have too many different blockchains and each of them have their own native tokens, so it's really hard and it's really fragmented to asking them deposit the native tokens of that chain over and over again, and then is very annoying to educating the users, even for Web3 native users or the Web2 users. So that's why by applying the zero gas fee mechanism, so we truly believe that whenever we're working with Web2 interface projects, right, it's no longer just Web3 products. um, we can basically having those user behavior on chain without asking them for paying for any gas. So we can start gradually educating them to start using the basic function of the Web3, and then start to educating on different angles of the blockchain in terms of DeFi, NFTs, or even gaming, and so on. Um, and I believe that, is mostly what many other chain are focusing right now. They want to expanding more user base with Web2. We have like billions of users out there. That didn't have any like Web2 wallets, and then they really want to trying out the space of like what it will be looking like, but they don't know where to start. So maybe eviction can be the first, um, gate. I would say the gate that they can start to entry the Web3 space.
Awesome, awesome. I noticed there's a time that Viction is, Tomo Chain is gonna having a process to rebrand into Victions, and there's a post from your co-founder, Mr. Ving, when he said that Viction is coming from a term we had, convictions. So
Mhm,
conviction is something that of founders is uh, kind of uh, kind of a trait a founder should have when they
mhm,
do everything, especially going on an entrepreneurship path. So I think it's a very good term to have for Victions. And there's a time, you guys see that there's a lot of competition between L1 back in 2022, early 2023, and you guys decided to go for a rebrand to have a new interface, new look for layer one, and you start onboarding the app. So I think it's a great move when you have all of resurface all the tokens. I think there's some sort of same pattern when we have to do with microfree.
mhm,
So at the moment we are going, we position ourselves, Western platform uh, with NFTs focus, not just going out, mint out for fun, but we take NFT seriously. So whoever gonna mint on the platform for microfree, um, they're gonna be recorded for their interactions, and based on that, we will edge for users. But apparently, at the end of this, at the end of development stage, so take galaxies or layer three, for example, they have the token airdrop done. They listed the token on the exchange. So what should they build next? So the only way they do is to get into, make themselves into L2 blockchains or even L3 built on Arbitrum or OP Stack or something. But I think it's like a traditional way that they go and develop. But there's so many L2s and L3s out there. So for us, our next move to onboard, like the topic say, the next billion users, is we find that people are really interested in playing games, and gaming is the easiest way to have the Web2 user to notice what is going to be the next big thing in Web3. So I think it's going to be in September. We're going to introduce our next credential. Um, On-chain verifications. We call that gene. So we call ours a microfree. So micro is something to associate with gene. So gene is like your microcell in your body to to fuel up your energy and build up all of the you know living things. So I think gene is gonna be a very very good credentials that it eliminates all of the KYC process from different uh, the apps that we integrated MicroFree, and you guys can onboard once with Gene, and it carry across the MicroFree ecosystem, and believe me that it's gonna have a track record for all of the interactions that you have on the platform, and there's gonna be a very exciting updates we're gonna have. So I'm gonna share with you first here for the user and community perspective. So we're gonna build a what we call that a social graph. So I think you're gonna see that in Web2 there's a social graph that connects people between, um, Facebook, YouTube, for example, dating apps like Tinder. So whether you see any kind of content, you interested in any kind of interest, so there's gonna be more recommendation for you to fill out that platform. So if you like a car, they're gonna show you pictures of a car or any kind of cars that is hot in the market right now. So we're gonna have a recommendation system for the people that who are already in the space and for newbies. So we're gonna collect all of the interests for people, whether they like DeFi, NFTs, or gaming, or any kind of interest they have outside Web3. So we're gonna have a algorithm to calculate that, and based on the informations we have foster and push up the information that match with the interest on the questing and also content creations. And there's in an upcoming way, there's gonna be a huge game that we're gonna have because we're gonna tell the story of socialifying to games as well. So pretty much it's gonna be the next big thing that we're gonna not go for L1 or L2 like the other guys are going, but it's more into socialify focus. So that is a little bit of my micro free, and we we already see the same pattern with Viction, so pretty excited. And I think the next question I have for Viction is pretty much about Web3 adoptions. So how do you think about the role of educations play in the Vixen strategy to drive Web3 adoptions? I think this is based on my experience when I see 98, especially evictions, that you guys host a lot of events for newbies, for people, community to get to know each other, understand more about Web3, how to use Web3 safely. So, can you share example of your educational initiative?
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, I think it's awesome that we are still continuing our works of onboarding millions of users, or even like billions. It's already have been discussed around like our team about the strategy of what we will be doing next. What should be the like proper educational contents that actually matching with their needs. So I think like more or less like we are still in the early stage. Even compared to our last bull run, we have like tons of like new Web3 citizens. Like we have seen a lot of new projects. They are really active. They are really having their own like lives living with the Web3 space. So I think like that is something that is very positive, that even the Web2, a lot of institution, they are becoming more open to working with Web3 products. That's why I, it's remind me of like the recent activities that we did in the 98 ecosystem, that we have been partnering up with for Peace Pizza. And actually it's really having that done in the past, like when the people are still very you know uh, I would say that like they are not very welcoming, Web3 partners to be working with them, because till that time, till the last bull run, like people are thinking that Web3 is all scams, or maybe it's still the zero sum games. There's no benefits to the users. But now we have seen that more and more projects, we have the ETFs, we have a lot of like good news about the future of Web3s that becoming more friendly to the users. And then I will say that in the long run, like there will be no longer the definition of like Web2 or Web3. It will be merged in the same phase, that it will be coming to the real life. Everything will be putting on chain, without people are realizing that. And the final goal is like how we can make the user experience, or the people lives are becoming more seamless and more you know worthy. And apparting the like the educational contents that we providing, I think like it's very, we separate that into like different like phases. So like you mentioned about the Quest platform, like how Micro Tree is different compared to like Galaxy or Tason or any other like Quest platform. So I know Gauzy since like the last bull run, right? And they are very top of the mind. Most people came there to learn more about the project. They're doing quizzes. They're doing both like off-chain and on-chain tasks to showing that they are dedicating in the projects, and then they can get something in returns. But it's still like you do something and the project giving you something. It's really hard to educating them to become the loyalty members, like as they receiving the rewards, and then there's nothing holding them back, or like how to say, like how we can retaining them with more exciting activities, so people are kind of get out of that and then jump into another project. So that is very painful. And I've seen like when we first met, right, when Fiction first met Michael Tree, so we've seen that we have a lot of like interesting ideas that we can doing together. First is like, you know, I love the Paxo ideas. Like, we providing four different like pieces of puzzle that, people will have to collecting that to getting the master prize pool. And, we have to educate the user step by step. Like, if we have four pieces, so people have to learn about four angles of the fiction chain. And then, it making it more gamified, compared to like very old school way that people came to the task, they see all the list of the tasks, they do it step by step, and then they get the rewards, and then they remember nothing. So by we by the way that we applying that with micro tree, so I believe that our users, or even our projects can having more ideas to doing with their projects and stuff. And it's much more, how to say, like exciting and meaningful for them. So beside the getting something as a reward, but they can get the good memories with the activities, and then we can continue to educating them with further activities. And that is first of the education. Like we want to bring the task on chain, we want to making that more valuable. Also our next education is like we want to moving them not just only the social task, but also like to becoming the real Web3 citizens, because everything on fiction is zero gas. you know um you can go to like the games, you can go to the DeFi protocols, you can do something like that, but you don't have to pay for the gas fee. Or even like they don't have to remember that there is a term called gas fee in the chain. And they just continue to interact with the chain, to know more about the chain, and the more they learn, the more information that they get from the chain, they can become like attached to the chain to become our real citizens, which mean the loyalty members. And we will be not stopping that, we will providing more utilities that they can playing around. We can gamify all the user educational contents, we can making that as continuously creative and meaningful as possible. Hello, hello. Sorry, maybe I got my network got interrupted.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, I think we gotta. Okay.
Hello, hello. Sorry, maybe I got my network got interrupted.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. So, yeah, I think we gotta. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Oh, I can.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Sorry, I just got some sort of internet disruption a bit. So yeah, pretty much for evictions, we're gonna have a very cool partnership since the very last campaign that we did for evictions, One ID, and also of the ecosystem projects that we do on Interchange Summerfest. And I must say that It's a wonderful experience, and technically, uh, for the NFT use case that Viction is mentioning, uh, I can see that there's a very huge narrative out there, but not many people is like seeing that. So it's called real world assets, tokenization, everything. So basically, what you guys are going to see is that Web3 is like at the very beginning of the development and the adoption stage. So we gotta just see the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF going in this market pretty much for the last 5 months since 2024, and we see BTCs going all the way up to the all-time high. But we do not see any kind of Web2 hard and traditional money into the Web3. So that is a big narrative I am personally seeing and Michael Free is seeing. So once the banking traditional money system, stock market is coming into Web3, it's going to be huge. So there's a NFT, utility is going to benefit for that. So I know that there's some sort of companies that is experimenting the NFT use case, for example, within the Tesla car. So if you buy a Tesla car right now in the United States, there's gonna be an NFT tied over with that car. So it's gonna show you all of the data that about the car you bought, like how many miles that you travel, how many times that you charge for the car, how many time that you have, like fuel up, repair at the shop, or have the maintenance. So it also display like your last price that you sold it to the next buyer, or your, you know, insurance is available or not. So pretty much everything is tied into that NFT for a car, and that kind of NFTs, they're experimenting. They call dynamic NFTs. So pretty much, Vixen. I think you guys can look at that, and they are doing pretty much good work in having NFTs as a badge that they have for One ID. So One ID is, I think, is potentially is going to be the next, what I call after uh, you know the uh, the universal ID that I have never seen before. And there's one more use case for NFTs. I think you guys should have look at is the membership NFT token. So I think this one ID has done pretty well since the very beginning of the projects. So there's some sort of NFTs going to act as a membership pass, so they can grant access to exclusive community, and the grant holders the access to some sort of special event, content, or voting rights. So I think I see that within my last, coming into Token 2049 and CoinFest last year. So they have a NFT card over that. We once whoever we mint the NFTs like for a couple of dollars to get access to the event for private party, some sort of that. And I think this also applies to One ID as well. So in the very beginning of One ID, whoever got a One ID first get the airdrop tokens from a lot of projects within Victions. I also, one of them. So lucky me, yeah, yeah. I think that's the some sort of the use case that you guys should mention, should look at for NFTs at the moment. And yeah, pretty much we cover all of the cases. But I think there are one last questions that I love to ask Ronan for that. So you think that how can Vixens and Microfree collaborate together to create engaging educational content for our community? Have you any ideas on that, Ronan?
Yeah, I would say, for Quest platform at the moment, or for different projects on the market, they have like different approach to like how they can growing the users, or how they can keeping the users to continue using their platform. So some are just back to basic. They're working with a lot of different projects to expand as many projects as possible, as expanding their networks, and making the the platform will be continuously getting new projects, getting new activities around. But I would say that it's not sustained, because if you are just hopping from one to another, it's really hard to build a very like close relationship with the project itself. Or it's really hard to making the two BDs of the two projects sitting together to think of what we should doing strategically to getting the not the users in a quantity, but more on the qualities of how we can get more quality users. So um I would say, for our collaboration, like between Viction and Michael Free, we have did a lot of awesome works on how we can educate, or how we can making the Quest platform becoming more exciting. It's not just Quest, but it's also gamifying them. So people are enjoying that. It's no longer boring, it's no longer Quest to earn, something like that. It's more meaningful. That is what I've seen in our Viction communities so far. And for the long term, we still want to sticking into the gamified contents. Like you know we have the Summer Fest that is really impressed me, because it's making the micro tree as a very big world, and then we contains like a lot of different chains, with their projects included. We can making each chain is a kind of an island, or even like a cities, or even a country, and then merging that together to a very big map. And then, in my point of view, like it's you did a really great work, of communicating in a way that no one on the market have been done previously. And it's very straightforward. You like, for example, if an user they like Fiction, so they just click into the Fiction island, and then they enjoy all the activities of the project within Viction ecosystem, and then they getting something, and then they also recognize as a contributors. And I really love the way that Linea has been doing to educate the users as well. Like beside the rewards that they can get from the quest, some of them might contains the contribution points, I would say, for the ecosystem, that whenever they interacting with the activities organized by the chain with the partners, so they can getting a very significant points that it can proving that they are contributing to the ecosystem, and they are the real users. Because if they are just the quest participants, so they can just generate a very long list of different wallets, and then they just joining as many as possible, and then they try to claim the reward, and that's it. But if we have some kind of credential, as you mentioned at the beginning, so it's really great that we can encourage people to stick into the chain, and to doing continuously, to proving their you know it's kind of like proof of work, but you know in a more funny way, or very exciting way. And um I think we have done like the very good ways. And in the next collaboration, I'm want to looking forward to like how we can, as you mentioned, tokenize the communities, like how we can emphasize more on tap into more communities. It's just not around Viction or micro tree, but also we can get more potential to expanding our collaboration into more communities that enroll in Web3, looking for exciting activities, because we have been doing very well. And then I believe that when we showing our exposure into those communities, so they will like it. And if we can working in some ways that strategically can it's the reason why I take the example of Linea is like if we can form our collaboration into whenever our users came into micro3 doing the vision task continuously, and then they can become our citizens. It can be very straightforward that they might be eligible for the later benefits. For example, when micro3 have more features, have more perks that only the early adopters, only the early supporters in, like participate in micro3 in a very long period of time, they can get that. And then same to Viction, like if they're continuously contributing in the ecosystem or joining our activities with the ecosystem projects, it's definitely something that we want to appreciating them. And then it's also a very like motivation for us to continuously building up more exciting activities, so that they like it. But like they also, it's not only about like they like the brand, but also they love what we have been doing. And then yeah, I think that that is kind of really hot topic to clarify like what specifically that we can be doing together. But generally, that is what I've seen, the way that projects in the futures will be building their own communities and the loyalty members.
Yeah, I totally agree with all of the example you say for Linea and also for the quest that we have done on Summerfest. So pretty much, our credentials is going to be live probably in September, I think. So it's gonna be a Sobao credentials, and one thing I could say is that if we can work together strategically, we can use this kind of credential to match with your one ID as well. So it's whether user, like aggregate some sort of on-chain interactions on Microfree, whether they mint data credentials, whether we do NFTs minting, whether they do the quest. So there will be some sort of the points aggregated from Vixens to all of the users that have been interacting on and generating transaction evictions. So pretty much like linear, and it's create some sort of the like unprecedented and never ended incentivizations for the community. So pretty much that's what we've been looking for, and thank you, man, for raising that. And I think there's one term that we can look for is that if you know Fiction is going to have more educational content like video, ebook, digital artwork. I think artwork is where you guys are doing so good because there's a lot of NFTs collections throwing out. Like your profile, the contrarian is one of the things I look at. Next, next thing is going to be Eternals. So we can work together and tokenize them as NFTs. And for example, learners on Microfree or learners from Vixens, they can own a piece of that educational content, and they can potentially trade it or sell it or maybe, stake it. We're looking at NFT restaking as well because right now there's in the market we already see ETH restaking. So only ETH is where value aggregated into the stakeholders. But what if we can restake NFTs? So that NFTs can bring more royalty to the creators, whether they have good contents, whether they provide value for the community. So yeah, pretty much that's what I think at the moment. But yeah, let's keep the conversations going on, and let's bring more ideas after the space. And apparently, we really appreciate it for your time here and all the community members from Michael Free and Victions for being here as well. So I think let's wrap up the space, and I think we'll see you in the next space between Michael Free and Victions. And thank you, Ronin, for being here as well.
Yeah, it's my honor to be here as well. Um, we always appreciate the work that micro T have been done. Not only the past but also like what you are growing right now. We have seen a lot of potential, and you know micro is still the the very like creative platform that we always looking at whenever we have exciting ideas that we want to share with team to getting more insight or getting feedbacks to see if we want to making that happen, so how we can collaborate together, how we can making the communities to be exciting, because we working on the ecosystem side, but micro is working a lot with the communities, or they about the inside of the audiences, like what they need on the user's perspective, and also like what kind of activities that can highly engaging them to be joining. So I do hope that with our strengths, from the ecosystem landscape, from the users understanding, so we can actually thinking of like very good ideas to be collaborating with in the next couple of activities.
Yeah, yeah, okay. See you guys for the next space, and thank you pretty much for being here. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.